Hi, this is Alimayo Arango, and today I would like to show you how to take a simple male base mesh character and turn it into a huge muscular type character in Blender 2.76. So let's get started. Okay, if this is your first time in Blender, I recommend you go to File, User Preferences, go to Input, and then choose Select with left click. Blender's default select is with right click, and this may confuse you if you're coming from Adobe or other 3D programs. Also, while you're in here, click on Add-ons. Make sure that you have a check mark next to 3D navigation right here. Scroll down. Put a check mark next to Mesh F2, Mesh Inset Polygon, Mesh Loop Tools, as well as Mesh Relax. And then scroll all the way down and make sure you have a check mark next to User Interface Pi Menus Official. You guys who are currently watching this video, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Also, to those of you out there who think that you've gotten something from the videos on this channel, if you would like to support this channel, you can click the upper right hand button and you can give a donation of any amount, and that will just assist me in making more tutorials. You'd be amazed how far $1 would go. So if you do that, thank you. And again, thank you just for watching in the first place. Okay, what you see in front of you is a simple male base mesh that I showed how to make in another tutorial. I'll put a link up so you can get to that. And what I would like to do with this tutorial is show you some of the different characters that could, come from using this simple base mesh. And particularly with this tutorial, I want to show you how to make a huge muscle type character from this simple base mesh male character here. Now, one of the things I want to do is show you how to bring in a head that you could, model separately and attach it to this body fairly easily. As a matter of fact, the head that is that I'm going to bring in, I'll put a link up here so you can get to one tutorial that just shows how to model a head, and I'll put another link that shows you how to get to the actual, head that I'm using with this tutorial. Okay, so this head that I'm talking about that we're going to bring in, when you bring things into Blender, the way that you bring things in, there's two ways you can bring them in. You can bring them in by linking an object or appending an object. If you bring an object in by linking it, that object is, it's brought in, but it's connected to another file. If you bring a object in by appending an object, it's just like you actually brought that object into the program. I hope that makes sense. For today, what we're going to do is we're going to append the object into Blender. Okay, so how we're going to do that is we're going to click File. We're going to go down to here, see where it says Append. We're going to click Append. Then you're going to look for where your object is that you're appending. As a matter of fact, I'll put a link up so that you can actually use this particular head and bring that in to the simple base mesh, which I'll also put a link up for. So right here, this is male head for appending. So I'm going to click here. Once I click there, you see all these different options open up here. There's multiple ways of bringing an object into Blender by appending. I'm going to choose to go to Object, and then I'm going to look for the male head, which is right here. So I'm going to click this where it says male head 1. And then I'm just going to go and choose Append from Library. Okay, with this simple base mesh, the way the head is set up was so that you could fairly easily take the head and turn it into this actual head. However, at the same time, it's set up so that you can easily, take a head from another model, which is what this is right now. So basically what we have here is when I click here, if you look to right here to this panel, and if you see where it looks like a wrench right here, this is Blender's modifier panel. So when we look here, we can see the modifiers that are currently on this simple male base mesh, right? So it has a mirror modifier on. If you stretch this out, you can see a little bit better. It also has a subdivision surface on, right? So that's this right here. You can tell this is selected because there's an orange outline going around it. If I click the head, you can see that the head has very similar options on it, pretty much almost exactly the same, except for the subdivisions that just have this set for 1 instead of 2. Okay, the way that I make models, I do them in a particular way, and the reason why I do them in a way is the way that I do them is because by using a similar format, and that format that I'm talking about is basically using faces that are 4 faces or 8 faces, what I tend to work with as I shape a model as far as the body and the head, and that allows the mesh to be done quickly. It also allows you to have very similar geometry between 2 body meshes, which makes things like attaching a head to a separate simple base mesh like we're going to do here fairly easily. Okay, so what we're going to do now is with this head selected, we're going to press H to hide the head. When I press H, the head is still there. It's just basically hidden from view. Okay, in Blender, you operate in 2 main modes as far as modeling things, which is object mode, which is what you see here. When you come into Blender, you're in object mode. Most of the time, you'll do most of your mesh work inside of edit mode. So we're going to click here, and you can see we're in object mode here. If we click here, we can go to edit mode. Okay, what we're going to do now is I'm going to put my mouse here. I'm going to press Shift, then B. I'm going to left click to form this box, and when I let go, I'm going to zoom in to what that box is, pretty much highlighted over. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to select this edge right here. In Blender, you manipulate your mesh typically by vertices, edges, and faces, which you can, select vertices, edges, and faces from right here. Okay, so we have edge select on. So what we're going to do is hover our mouse right here. We're going to hold Alt, then select this edge. Because I was holding Alt, I selected this actual edge loop, so the loop that went all the way around the head is currently selected. Okay, with this edge loop selected, what I'm going to do is hover my mouse here. I'm going to press the V key and then left click to lock in. When I pressed the V key, what happened was the mesh that is above the edge loop here separated from the mesh here that's attached to that same edge loop. So basically what happened is now this head is, we're still in what's called the object inside of Blender because we're in edit mode of this mesh object. However, inside of the object now, this head is a separate piece from this body, which is what we want. So we're going to hover our mouse here, and now we're going to press L to select this head mesh. Then we're going to press X to bring up our delete menu. Then we're going to choose faces to delete. Okay, with that done, what we're going to do now is we're going to click here. We're going to go back to object mode. I'm going to press and hold Alt, then press H, which brings back this current head mesh here. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to join this head mesh, which is its own object, to this body mesh here. So before we do that, what we're going to do is select the head mesh, and then we're going to go to the modifier panels, and then we're going to click X here to take off the mirror modifier from the head mesh, and then we're going to click the X here to take off the subdivision surface modifier from the head mesh. Okay, the reason why we did that was we're going to join this head mesh to this body mesh. When we join this head mesh to the body mesh, the modifiers that are on the body mesh will automatically be applied to the head mesh. So you might sit there and say, well, if you are going to put the same modifiers back on, why not keep them on? And the reason why is it's possible in Blender to have multiple modifiers on one mesh. So it's safer, for lack of a better word, just to take the modifiers off and then, have them be rejoined to the mesh that you are, trying to join your other mesh to. So with this head mesh selected, we're going to hold Shift, then select here, right? So first you select the object that you want to be joined to the other object, and then you press and hold Control, then press J. Okay, you can see that the head mesh took on the modifiers of the body mesh. So now the head mesh as well as the body mesh are one object. So you can see that the head mesh is still not connected to the body mesh. However, they are one object. So what we're going to do is we're going to click here, go into edit mode. And I know that can be, at least I think that can be confusing because it's like, well, this is separate and this is separate. And it's, when I say object, it's kind of like the Blender's version of an object, like an object is something that you can go into edit mode and deal with that entire thing. Anyway, as far as connecting this head, first thing I'm going to do is actually shrink the head down a little bit. So I'm going to hover my mouse right here. I'm going to press L to select the head. Okay, now I'm going to press S to scale. You got to be careful because when you scale the head down, you see how when I scaled it down, it stretched out a little bit. So I'm going to press Shift and hold, then press B, draw a box to zoom in here. So the head stretched out, and that's fine. That's just from the mirror modifier. So you'll just take the manipulator and just, push in. Be very careful you don't cross geometry here, particularly with the nose. Just rolling the mouse wheel to zoom back. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to press Shift, then press B while holding Shift to draw a box to zoom in right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is with the edge select on, I'm going to hover my mouse right here. I'm going to hold Alt, select right here, that edge to select that entire edge loop. Then I'm going to move my mouse here, press and hold Shift. And while holding Shift, I'm going to press and hold Alt. And then I'm going to select this edge loop right here. Okay, the reason why this is going to work, what I'm about to show you, is because this head mesh was made in a similar way as this body mesh. When I say similar way, what I mean is the faces and vertices were extremely similar as far as, making these two meshes. One of the ways you might sit there and say, well, how can you tell? Because basically if the vertices around here were mismatched from the vertices around here, you would have issues, okay? One of the ways that you can see how many vertices that you can that you have around an edge loop is if you go to edge select and hold Alt and select here. If you look up here, you can actually see what's selected. So you can see right here, here's the verts, the edges, the faces, as well as the triangles right here, right? So this right here, I believe has 8 vertices. This also has 8 vertices, and I believe this is telling us that by saying we have 16 vertices selected. So as long as you have even vertices here and then even vertices to what you're trying to, connect the two edge loops, you shouldn't have a problem as far as, connecting two meshes together. Okay, there's 2 different ways that we can use to connect the head mesh to the body mesh. The one way is we can press and hold Control, then press E. We can then go down to bridge edge loops. That's one way. Another way is we can press W. This brings up our specials menu. We can then go to loop tools and then select bridge. You should see these options here as long as you put a check mark next to loop tools, like I showed you near the beginning of this tutorial as far as the user preferences. So what we're going to do is choose bridge. Okay, now you can see that the head mesh is connected to the body mesh. You might say the neck looks very long, which it does. That's easily fixed. What we're going to do is go to the navigation tab. We're going to choose front to go straight to a front orthographic view. Orthographic is kind of like a blueprint view. It's very easy to model as far as orthographic view. We're going to press A to deselect. We're going to change our selection from edge selection to vertice selection. We're going to press Z to go to wireframe. The reason why we came in the wireframe was so that when we make the selection that we're about to do, we select a geometry in front, the geometry that's in front of the face and the head, as well as the geometry that's in the back of the face and the head. So we're going to hold down Control, hold the right mouse button, which allows us to draw a loop select. We're going to select all of this right here. Now that we have this geometry selected here, we're going to change our selection from vertice select to face select. Okay, so now that we have the selection that we want, what we're going to do is press Z, then go to solid view. Then we're going to just push down like that, and then press A to deselect. Okay, and I'll click here and temporarily go to object mode. So you can see our head is, nicely connected to the body there. So we'll click here to go back into edit mode. Okay, so what we're going to do is roll the mouse wheel to zoom back. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. Just getting the body in view. What we're going to do is we're going to use the fact that inside of Blender, when you hide an object, that object tends to, while hidden, not be affected when you move the vertices, edges, as well as faces as the rest of the mesh, connected to the hidden parts of that mesh. So we're going to use that to our advantage as we take this simple male base mesh into a huge muscle type character. Okay, so what we're going to do is move our mouse right here. We're going to press and hold Shift and B so we can zoom in some here. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. And what we're going to do is make sure we're on face select. And we're going to go for certain areas that we don't want to be enlarged, because a lot of what we're going to do is we're going to go into sculpt mode. We're going to use what's called the inflate brush. And that's going to easily allow us to increase the size of different pieces of this mesh. Okay, so to make our selections, we're going to start off using the paintbrush or the paint selection. So by pressing C, you get this circle which you can select things with. So we're going to select the head right here, select the front of the head there, and all of this to the side of the head. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select so I can hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. I'm then going to press C again and paint all of this right here. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. Because we have a mirror modifier on here, when we paint the one side, the other side is selected as well. So I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn back towards the front. Okay, so what we're going to do now is press and hold Shift, then press B, draw a box to zoom in right here. We're going to press C for paint select. There's some vertices that were missed. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button so we can see right here. I'll press C and then left click to hold to get all of that, as well as that. And I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to click what looks like kind of like a triangle here. We're then going to click here, which makes a new vertex group. Then we're going to select Assign. The reason why we did that is for some reason if we lose our selection, we can just come back over here, select, and we'll get the selection right back. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to select front. We're going to roll the mouse wheel back to zoom back some. We're going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. And then we're going to hold Shift. The reason why we're holding Shift is so we don't lose the selection here. And then while holding Shift, we're going to press and hold Alt. So I'm holding Shift as well as Alt. I'm holding Shift so I don't lose the selection on the face. I'm holding Alt so I can select this edge loop right here. So now I have the face as well as the edge loop here selected, which is what we want. Okay, now with that done, we're going to select Assign just so that this selection is also added to the vertex group that's selected. Again, the vertex group that I'm talking about, all that basically is actually I can show you. If I press A, okay, we have no selection. We just, selected the head, selected there. What we can do, because we have a vertex group, which is basically a selection of, edges, vertices, edges, and faces, is I can select, and now we have it right back, just so that doesn't confuse you and you think that's some complicated thing, because it's not. So I'm going to roll the mouse wheel back. I am then going to, I'm holding Shift and holding Alt. Just like we did before, I'm going to select right here. Then I'm going to select Assign. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan this up. Okay, now I'm going to hold Shift and Alt as well. And I'm going to select right here. Still holding Shift and Alt, selecting right here. Still holding Shift and Alt, selecting right here. Now I'm letting go of Shift and Alt. I'm pressing C for Paint Select, and I am selecting right here. I'm going to right click to get out of Paint Select. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to look towards the back. Hold the middle mouse button still to rotate more. Now I'm pressing C for Paint Select and selecting this area here. Then right clicking to get out of Paint Select. Okay, what we're going to do now is press front to go back to front view. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom back. I'm going to press Z to go to wireframe mode. I'm going to hold Control, hold the Alt button down, and I'm going to select right here. I missed this little vertice right here, so I'm going to press and hold Control. While I'm holding Control, I'm going to press and hold the right mouse button. I'm selecting here again. So now I have that. So since I have this added geometry as well as the geometry we just recently grabbed, I'm going to select Assign yet again. Okay, I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to hover the mouse right here. I'm going to press B. This gives us a box select. I'm going to select these faces right here. That's excellent. With those faces there selected, I'm going to select Assign, and that just adds this selection to the vertex group. And again, the vertex group, what we're using it for here is just a way to get back to our selection if we lose it. Okay, you might say, how would you lose the selection? We would lose the selection by selecting something without holding Shift. So I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. Now box select, we can do the box select without shifting. Same thing with paint select. It's kind of like you just selecting just by left clicking the mouse. You would select something else, which would make you lose your selection. So what we're going to do here is press B for box select. Then I'm going to left click and drag to draw a box selection right here. We're then going to select Assign to add this part of this selection to the vertex group. Okay, what we're going to do now is press and hold Shift. While holding Shift, we're going to press B to pan down. I'm going to press Z and then select Solid to go back to solid view. Okay, what we're going to do now is hover our mouse here. We're going to press and hold Shift, then press B while holding Shift. We're going to draw a box so we can zoom in here. With face select on, we're going to press and hold Shift. So I'm holding Shift and selecting this geometry. I'm letting go of Shift, holding the middle mouse button to turn the mesh. I'm re-holding Shift and then selecting here, as well as here, as well as here, while still holding Shift. I'm letting go of Shift. I'm going to select front to go back to front view. Now I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan this over. Okay, then what we'll do is we'll click here to add that new selection to the vertex group. Okay, what we're going to do now is with face select still on, we're going to hold Shift. We're going to select here, 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 as well as here. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. We'll select here as well, and then select Assign. Okay, I'm going to roll the mouse wheel back. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn towards the back. I'm going to hold Shift. Then I'm going to select here, 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 as well as here. I'm then going to select front to go back to front view. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm then going to select Assign to add that new selection to the vertex group. Okay, the reason why we grabbed those pieces of the geometry is because those are pieces that we don't want to grow. We want the muscular areas to grow. However, the bony areas of the body, as well as the areas that don't tend to have muscle, we want to be hidden. And what that's going to do is we're going to hide that geometry, and then we're going to inflate the rest of the geometry, and it just makes it easier to create, this what we're going for. And we're not going for like a, lightly muscled. We're going for an extremely heavily muscled character. Okay, a lot of times when I go to make a tutorial, I'll look for something and I don't find it. It doesn't mean that it's not necessarily there. It just means that when I looked, I couldn't find it. And a lot of times I spend a decent amount of time looking for, a tutorial on how to do something. And I went to look for how to make a very heavily muscled character, as in hugely muscular character. And I did find some videos showing how to make muscular characters, but not humongous and not really going into detail of how you could do it. So I'm hoping that this tutorial will be there for if somebody goes searching for that, they'll be able to find this tutorial showing you how to take a character to that huge muscle type style character that we're going for here. Okay, with face select on, I'm going to hold Shift. I'm then going to select here as well as here. There does not tend to be a lot of muscle in front of the neck. There tends to be a lot of muscle in the back of the neck. As far as like your trap muscles. So with that done, what we're going to do is select Assign to add that to the vertex group. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to press H to hide all of this geometry. Then we're going to click here and then go into sculpt mode. Now here in sculpt mode, it looks like our character is all here, and this actually works out well for us. The fact that we can see the entire character. what's going on is in sculpt mode, even though we see the character, we can only adjust the geometry of the character that is still viewable inside of edit mode. So don't let it get to you that we can see the actual character here. Like I said, it actually works in our favor that we can see the character here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Tools tab right here. In sculpt mode, if you're familiar with or have heard about ZBrush, it's kind of like Blender's version of ZBrush. What we're going to do here is we're going to click here. These are the different, tools in sculpt mode. What we want is the inflate tool right here. So we're going to zoom back. By pressing F, you can change the size of your brush. So if you press F and then pull, I'm not pressing F now, I'm just pulling my mouse and left click, my brush size is this big, and I can also press F and then push in and of course adjust the brush size like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're just going to paint our size on. You can see that the areas that we hit are not being affected. The arm. We'll hold the middle mouse button and turn towards the back. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. Hold the middle mouse button and turn to the back more. Start painting here. Get this here. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan up. Okay, to work on the legs, what we need to do is actually expand the hip sum. So what we're going to do is click here, go back to edit mode. We're then going to press and hold Alt, then press H to unhide our geometry. Okay, so what we're going to do now is press A to deselect. I'm going to go to the navigation tab and select front. I'm going to zoom back. I'm going to press Z, then go to wireframe. I'm going to hover my mouse here. I'm going to press B for box select. I'm going to grab all of this geometry right there. So we're on face select right now. I'm going to zoom in. I'm now going to hold the control button, hold the right mouse button, and draw a lasso select right here. Just getting this other geometry right there. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn towards the back. I'm going to press Z to go into solid view. I'm going to hold Shift and then select right here. I'm going to select front to go right back to the front view there. Okay, now we're going to roll the mouse wheel back. And with all this geometry selected, we're actually going to take and pull to the side about like this. And what we want is, we want for the hip here to pretty much go straight up in alignment with the edge of the shoulder right here. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to press A to deselect. We want to go to our vertex group and then choose select. Now we want to rehide this geometry by pressing H. Okay, and you look here, you can see there's some edges selected here and here. That's fine. We don't currently want them. We want what we chose to have in our vertex group, so we're going to press A to deselect those edges right there. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to click here, go to scope mode, go to tools here. We still have the inflate brush on, which is what we want. So now we're just going to use the inflate brush to increase the size of the leg muscles. Be careful that the geometry doesn't cross over because we still have the mirror modifier on. And now this character, we're going for amazingly big. Be careful right here. If it starts to get too close, zoom in so you can dodge the crossover there. We'll make this even bigger. See how there's a line right here? I don't want that super hard edge there, so what I'm going to do is click here, go back to edit mode. I'm going to hold Alt, then press H to unhide. I'm going to press A to deselect. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Z, go to wireframe. I'm going to hover my mouse here. I'm going to press and hold Shift and B. I'm going to draw a box right here so I can zoom in right there. Okay, so we're going to go to Edge Select. See this edge right here? I'm going to hold Alt, select right there. Then I'm just going to grab this edge, push it down some, like that. I'm going to press Z, then go back to Solid View. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel back. I'm going to hold Shift and middle mouse button to pan. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to hold Shift and middle mouse button to pan. With Edge Select on, we're actually going to select here as well as here. As well as here, we'll zoom in. Select here as well as here. We're going to pull this up like this. We'll grab here, pull this up some. We'll grab here, I'm holding Shift, and we'll push this actually down some. Grab here, push this down some, in some, like that. We'll roll the mouse wheel to zoom back. Okay, what we're going to do now is press A to deselect. We're going to go to Vertice Select. We're going to select this vertice right here. We're going to pull out to the side some like that. Then we'll press A to deselect. Okay, what we're going to do now is give this guy some abs. So we're going to click here on our modifier button. We're going to temporarily turn off the subdivision surface modifier. We're going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan up. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to hover our mouse here. We're going to press and hold Control, then press R while holding Control, and then left click to lock in, left click again to totally lock in. We're then going to press A to deselect. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to hold Shift and the mouse button to pan a little bit. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to rotate the view some. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Face Select. We're going to select here, hold Shift, then select here. Okay, now we're going to go to our mirror modifier options and temporarily turn off clipping. We're then going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. We're then going to take our manipulator and push straight out. Hold the middle mouse button just to make sure I didn't push too far out, a little bit further. I'm then going to press S to scale. And when I scale in, you can see that now we have that split that ab should have. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab these four faces here. So we're going to select here, hold Shift, select here, hold the middle mouse button just to get a better view. We're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. Then we're going to push out to about even with the other abs. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button here. Then I'm going to press S to scale, push my mouse in a little bit so we can get that separation between the abs there. Okay, now I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to select here, hold Shift, select here, hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. I'm going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, take the manipulator and push out some there. Press S to scale, down like that, then left click to lock in. Okay, so what we're going to do now is press A to deselect. We're going to come here and turn our subdivision surface modifier back on by clicking this selection right here, which looks like an eye. You can see right here there's some flat shading there. So what we're going to do is press A to select everything. Then we're going to press Z and then select Shade Smooth. Okay, now we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to roll our mouse wheel back. We'll go to our navigation tab. We'll select the front view there. We'll click here, which lets us see our vertex groups. So we have the one vertex group. We're going to choose select. We're going to make sure we're on face select. We're going to press H to hide those selections. Then we're going to press A to deselect those edges right there. Okay, so now we're going to click here, go to scope mode, and then in scope mode, we're going to go to our tools. We're going to click here and we're going to go to our grab brush. Okay, we're going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. We're going to zoom in a little bit more. We're going to pull this out here, grab this, pull out a little bit. We're going to actually grab here, pull this to the side some. Okay, I'm going to zoom back here. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. The leg can bulge out, but we don't want it bulging out up here. It can bulge out down there. So we're going to take the grab brush, left click, and just drag this back some, like that. Okay, so we're going to hold the middle mouse button and turn back to the side. We'll grab here, pull this out some more there. Okay, we still have the grab tool selected. We'll grab here. We'll pull this down some. We'll hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. We'll grab here and push this out some. Then we'll hold the middle mouse button and turn back towards the front. Okay, what we're going to do now is click here to go to edit mode. We're then going to press and hold Alt, then press H. Then we're going to press A to deselect our different selections there. Okay, one of the reasons why we deselected our selections is I find that when you make someone this amazingly huge, they don't look right for being this amazingly huge without their hands and their feet being bigger. Okay, so we're going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to roll the mouse to zoom in some more. What we're going to do is press Z, then go to wireframe. I'm going to hold control, hold the right mouse button, and draw a lasso select around the hand, just like that. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press Z, then go to solid view. I'm then going to press S to increase the scale of the hand. See how it gets close to this edge? You don't want that, so you're going to push down just to spread that out some. You want the hand, if you can imagine it being in a fist, to be about the size of the head. So we'll press S to scale, make it a little bit bigger. Push it down again and out. Now what we're going to do is press and hold Alt, then press S. This is a special type of scale that will make the hand thicker. Not too much. About like that. Then left click to lock in. Okay, and then we're going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hold shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm now going to press Z, then select wireframe. I'm going to hold control and the right mouse button to select right here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to press S to scale up. And this is coming quite forward there, so we're going to press S to scale on the Y axis just to bring that in some. Then we'll press S to scale up again. Left click to lock in. I'm holding the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to press Z to go to solid view. Then I'm going to press S to scale on the Y axis like that. Then left click to lock in. Then I'm going to press A to deselect. Okay, what we're going to do now is hover our mouse here, press and hold control, then press R, then left click to lock in, left click again to totally lock in. Okay, then we're going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in, hold shift and middle mouse button to pan, roll the mouse wheel to zoom in some more. Okay, now we're going to select here, hold shift, select here, push this out some like that. Hold the middle mouse button just to look at the view. Then hold Alt, then select here. Then hold the middle mouse button to change the view. I'm going to push this down some. I'm going to hold Alt, then select here, push this down some and away from that other edge. Loop. I'm going to hold Alt, select this, push that down some. I'll hold Alt and adjust this. Just don't want these getting bunched up there. I'll click here. I'll push this down slightly. Just making the arms yet even bigger. Grab here. Hold the middle mouse button. Turn to the back. Grab here. Pull this back some. Select here. Oops. I'll select here. Hold the middle mouse button. Select here. Hold the middle mouse button and turn back. Pull that back some like that. Then I'll press A to deselect. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn back towards the front. I'm going to roll back to take a look at everything. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click here, select this face, pull this to the side, like that. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to click here to go to our modifier panel. I'm going to make sure that clipping is turned on by putting a check mark here for our mirror modifier options. Okay, now I'm going to hover my mouse here. I'm going to press and hold shift and press B. Draw a box to zoom in right to here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. I'm going to press Z, then go to wireframe. I'm going to hold control, hold the right mouse button, draw a lasso select right here. Then I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn the view back this way. I'm going to press Z, then go to solid view. Okay, now I'm going to press C for paint select. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, which deselects selections. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to change the view. I'm going to press C for paint select and select that selection right there. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select, hold the middle mouse button to rotate the view. I'm going to press C for paint selection to paint right there, then right click to get out of paint selection. Okay, I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom back. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. What I want to do is select the body, so I'm going to press and hold control, then press I, which inverts the selection. Then I'm going to press S to scale down some like this. You can see it's spreading the body, which is fine because all we have to do is take the manipulator and push in. Just watch the middle geometry that you don't cross over, and then we'll push this up some like that. Okay, we're going to press A to deselect. We'll click here, then go to sculpt mode. And what we can do is we're on the grab brush, so we'll grab here, pull this in some. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, turn back this way. I'm going to grab here, grab this side. There we go. Pull in some like that. Grab up here, pull out some like that. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn towards the front. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn towards the back. I'm going to grab here and pull up some and out to the side some. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn back towards the front. Okay, I'm going to grab here and push this up some. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn towards the side. I'm going to grab this and push this up some and out like that. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn towards the front. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to grab this, pull in some here, just like that. Okay, I'm going to roll the mouse wheel back. I'm going to grab here, pull this out to the side some. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, turn here some. I'm going to pull out to the side some, pull this down, zoom in, adjust this a little. Pull this out some. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button in. Hold the middle mouse button, turn back towards this way. Okay, I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom back. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to take a look. Okay, and you could have a good time in here, adding detail onto this guy and, tweaking the different muscle shapes with him. I hope that this showed you what you could do with the simple base mesh male character. And, it's not too difficult getting a pretty different looking, character from that base mesh. Okay, guys, that's it for the tutorial. For all of those of you out there who like the videos on this channel and we share them, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And to those of you who are new to this channel, if you like the videos on this channel and you would like to see more, please subscribe and thank you for viewing.